This is my third time making this video. My third time. The first few times I made it, I was a little pissed off, right? I felt the rage inside me getting hot, right? Getting hot and heated. So I said, you know, I don't want to put that negative energy out there in the world, right? However, at the same time, I want to be able to express myself freely, right? So I noticed there are things that's bottled up inside of me that have not released as of yet. I have not released these things, right? So I want to make a video, put it out there, and release it, move on with my life, right? It's not good to keep things bottled in and be filled with rage and anger, right? It's better to just let things, say your piece and let it go, right? And when I really contemplated on these things, I realized that the universe really was looking out for me. Now, sometimes bad things happen to us, right? Well, bad things happen to all of us, right? Bad and good. But sometimes when bad things happen, we fail to see the bigger picture. Sometimes the universe has a bigger picture for us. It has bigger and brighter things in store for us that we don't see at that particular time, right? So I want to talk about two experiences in which the universe really was looking out for me. The universe really be looking out for me. Sometimes I get deep in my emotions because I'm an emotional person, right? I get deep in my emotions. I don't see the bigger picture until several months or years down the road. I'm like, wow, I'm thankful that this didn't work out because the universe really had a bigger picture for me. It had something better for me that I couldn't see at that particular time, right? So I want to start off by talking about this, my experience from waking up from the Jehovah's Witness cult, right? And how you guys know my story, so I'll just abbreviate it for a bit, right? I'll abbreviate it. So you guys know how when I was trying to come back to the Jehovah's Witness cult, right? I changed my entire life for 2 years before I even spoke to the elders, right? Now, for the longest time, I spoke to quite a few elders in different cities, trying to get right with Jehovah, right? Trying to find my publishing card. And I find it hilarious. The only elder that was willing to help me was an elder who was ready to abuse his power. He wasn't really trying to help me, not in real life. In real life, and mind you guys, I am extremely, extremely good at reading people. I can read people like this, right? And I'm an overthinker. I'm somebody that you cannot bullshit me. You can't BS me because I can read past bullshit. So this elder, and I'm not going to say his name, but I will state the congregation. Just in case there's Jehovah's Witnesses that know me in New York, and they're wondering why I went the route that I went, why I became this apostate, an ex-member, why am I speaking out against the Jehovah's Witness religion, right? So this elder, mind you, I'm making this video because I want to share two experiences, how the universe was working in my favor at this time. And yet I didn't see it, right? So this Kobe elder in the Bradhurst congregation in Harlem, New York City, my mom went to him because my mom knew I was getting discouraged at the time. I was looking for my publisher card for 2 years, right? So she ran to this elder thinking that he's going to help me to get back on track with Jehovah, get right with the organization, right? And my mom ran to this elder and he goes, oh yeah, I can help him find a publisher card. I can help your son get back with Jehovah, but he has to have a judicial with us, right? That's what this Kobe elder in the Bradhurst congregation in Harlem, New York City said to my mom. So I'm thinking that he really had pure good motives to help me get back with Jehovah, when in reality, right? This elder, there's two kinds of elders. There are good-hearted elders out there that really they're sincere. They really care about the members. They really try to help people to do better in life, to be as spiritual as possible, right? There are good elders out there. And then there's shitty elders like this elder. His entire objective was to punish me from the jump start. The minute he knew that I was inactive for several years, my mom ran to him and said, listen, my son's trying to get right with Jehovah. He's trying to get right with the organization. Can you please help him, right? So he goes, yeah, I'll help him. But in the back of his mind, he knew damn well he only wanted to shun me, to get me dead. All he wanted to hear was a sin so he could be like, oh, we could defellowship him. He was out there living a worldly lifestyle. Keep in mind, you cannot bullshit me. I told you guys, I can read people like this. I'm good at reading people, right? Now, when this elder approached me, when he reached out to me, oh, we need to set up a judicial because we know you was out there in the world and we heard that you're trying to come back to Jehovah, but before that happens, we need to have a judicial, right? In other words, he was saying to me, give us a reason to fellowship you. We're not here to help you. We're here to fellowship you, to shun you. If you done anything while you was inactive, you're going to be judged and you're going to be shunned, right? But he made it pretended like he was going to coming to me with a genuine motive, trying to help me, right? That's how he made it appear. But in reality, him and the other elders only wanted to hear some sins. That's all they wanted to hear. So was to hear some sins so they could shun me, right? I didn't see that at the time. So, the minute we had the judicial, these elders went straight to it. Oh, so what you been up to? Well, you've been sinning. What you been up to while you was out in the world? And the fact that I could read people. Now, if this elder was a loving elder, the first thing that would have came out of his mouth was like, oh, brother, we know you've been inactive for so long, but we heard that you changed your ways. We heard that you came back to Jehovah. We're so proud of you. We love you. We're going to do our part to help you get right back on track. You see, that would have came out of his mouth. Those words would have came out of his mouth if he sincerely, truly, genuinely had an interest to help me get back with Jehovah. Those would have been the first words that came out of his mouth. We love you. We're happy that you came back after all these years from being inactive. But instead, the first thing that came out of his mouth was, tell us everything you've been up to. Tell us everything you've done when you was inactive. And I say to myself, why is it that out of all the elders who could have shown me who could have been way more loving than him, why did I get one of the worst elders out there that just wanted to abuse his power? I kept saying, why? And when these elders, the fellowship me, and I know damn well I did not deserve to be the fellowship. Anyone who changed their entire life, anyone who was celibate, not for 2 weeks, not for 2 months. I was celibate for 2 whole years. 2 whole years before I even approached the elders. So that doesn't tell you that I'm not repentant. Someone who loves sex. I love sex. But I made a decision to be celibate, to come back to this organization for Jehovah. That don't tell you that I'm repentant? Someone who could not have sex for 2 years? So when these elders falsely shunned me, I was bitter for the longest time. Bitter. Had nothing but a hate in my heart for these elders. Especially that one elder, the Kobe elder, who went out of his way to reach out to me to set up the judicial only to shun me, right? I had so much hate for him. And when I was the fellowship, I would never forget that night when they made that announcement on Zoom. At that time, I thought my world was over. My life was over. I was depressed, bitter, angry, the whole nine, right? When I did my research and I realized that I was brought up in a man-made organization, this is all fake, this is all false, it was like the sky was open. I was like, wow. I said, Geron, I'm thankful that this elder, the Kobe elder in the Brad Hurst congregation in Harlem, New York City, I am so thankful that he showed me his true colors, because it was a domino effect. Him showing me so much hate made me do my research. Because I felt like I knew something was off. When these elders abused their powers, they showed me this hate. I said, hold on, this don't feel right. Something's off. I said, let me do some research on this religion. For once in my life, let me do some research, because something's off, right? I did my research. I realized I was born and raised in a man-made organization, right? And it hit me later on. I said, oh, shit. The universe directed me into this elder's direction so that they can show me their true colors, right? And then in return, I felt something was off. I did my research, woke up from this religion. Now, had the universe brought me an elder or elders that were more loving, I would be at a Kingdom Hall right now, handing out a damn mic to somebody giving a comment. But the universe said, no, Geron, you're not destined to be a Jehovah's Witness. You're not destined to waste your life away waiting for a pipe dream that's never going to happen. The universe said, Geron, I must give you the coldest, unloving elder out there, so that therefore you could start to think for yourself. You could do your research and wake up from this religion. So you see how I was bitter for the longest time, because I was saying to myself, why did I get this elder? Why did I get him out of all the elders? Why him? And then later on, once I woke up, I said, oh shoot, I had to get him. Me and him had that judicial so that I can see just how unloving this organization really is. See, like I said in the beginning, when bad things happen, you don't see it for what it is. You don't see the bigger picture at first. But when I did my research, I realized, I said, oh, this was all part of a bigger plan. Me waking up, everything was, like I said, it was a domino effect. From me having that judicial with those elders, to me doing my research and waking up, it was all a domino effect. Everything happened the way it was supposed to happen, right? And I'm grateful for it now. Looking back, I'm grateful because I woke up. The hate that these elders showed me inclined me to do my research, and I woke up because of that. So when bad things happen, guys, do not, I know it's hard to not see the bigger picture. There's always a bigger picture involved. At first you might be a bit perplexed, you might be a bit confused, lost. Why is this happening? Why? But several months or several years down the line, you look back like, oh shit, that had to happen. It was a blessing in disguise. You just did not know it at the time, right? So that's one way that the universe was working in my favor. I didn't see it at that time, right? Here's number two, second way, another lesson that I learned, how the universe was working in my favor, right? So I had an ex-witness friend back in the day. Me and her was like this. I lived in New York at the time. She lived in Michigan. She still lives in Michigan. So I flew from New York to Michigan a few times to see her, right? I was a real friend. I was the definition of a real friend. Me and her was on the phone for hours. I flew out there to see her. I was a real friend, right? She ends up meeting the so-called love of her life, which happened to be a Jehovah's Witness brother. They got married, and she felt like I was no longer important. She felt like she didn't need me anymore. I was obsolete. Now that she met her so-called love of her life, Geron was now obsolete. She no longer needed a male best friend, right? And I'm not gonna lie, of course I felt a little salty, because I was like, hold on, I thought me and her was always gonna be good friends no matter what. Of course her husband would come first, but to just drop me like I was nothing, that hurt her. That hurt her, especially when me and her was like this back in the day, right? I'm not gonna lie, I had a little crush on her back in the day, right? Nothing came from that, of course, because she met her husband at the time, right? She met him and kicked me to the curb, but it is what it is, right? Anywho, 9 years later, her marriage didn't work out. She now has 3 kids, two baby daddies, And she reaches out to me, and I haven't spoken to her in like 10 years at this point, right? This happened last year, by the way. So she hits me up out of nowhere, and I made a video about this last year, right? But I want to elaborate more, go into further details. So she hits me up out of nowhere last year, right? And I'm looking at my phone, and I'm contemplating, Geron, you know she's not a real friend. She dropped you when she supposedly met the love of her life, right? She dropped you 10 years ago. A part of me, I was split in half. A part of me was saying, Geron, don't do it. Don't reply back. You know, she's a fake friend. You know, the minute she meets another guy that she's interested in, she's going to drop you again, right? But the other half of me, the other part was like, oh, Geron, you guys were besties. You guys were really good friends back in the day. Give her another shot, Geron. Give her another shot. Things might be better this time around. So anywho, we played catch up. We haven't spoken in 10 years. She knows I'm an ex-witness. She's now telling me that her and her hubby separated, and she went on a whole phase, right? She was a born and raised JW, Jehovah's Witness, like me. So I had my whole phase when I first became inactive, back in the day. I left as a teenager, and in my 20s, hoeing around. I was just hoeing around in my 20s, right? So she's in her 30s now, and she tells me she just separated from her husband, and she started sleeping around. And she was telling me some wild sexual stories. And I'm like, what the fuck? Back in my mind, I'm like, whoa. I'm like, hold on. You got 3 kids and you out here hoeing around like that? And I'm not going to give the number, but let me just put it like this. Over 15 guys in less than 2 years. That's a lot of sausages. That's a lot of dick. That's a lot. And the way she was talking, no self-respect, no morals, no conscience. There was nothing, not one time did she say, oh, I had to come to my senses. No, she was just, if you can have sex with men when you're not even technically friends with these guys, not even friends, it's just, hey, you want to come over tonight? Or hey, what are you doing this weekend? One of those scenarios, right? With multiple men, not even friends. And the sad part is I genuinely cared about her. And it's sad how I had more respect for her than she had for herself. And I understand that when you leave a high control religion, of course you want to live your life. I did that. I wish I had somebody back in the day talking to me, hey, Geron, don't do this. Don't be wild. Don't be out there sleeping around, hoeing around. I wish I had that. I wish I had somebody who had a heart to heart with me back in the day, right? So she's telling me about her wild sexual encounters, and who am I to judge? I did the same thing when I was, when I first left the religion. But the difference is I don't have kids. She has kids. So I said to her, you gotta have kids. Like, I couldn't comprehend how someone in their 30s left a cult filled with fake, phony people. Just left a cult filled with fake, phony people. Went out to the world. She has freedom for the first time in her life. And what do? Decide to be a freaking hoe. Decide to just open your legs to men. So you left a cult filled with fake, phony people. Now you out there in the world sleeping around with men that are just as fake. Men that's just using you for sex. Men that would never be good men that would never be a good friend like I was a good friend towards her. Mind you, I'm the only guy that jumped on a freaking plane to see her. Anyone could jump in a car and drive to see you. But it's a whole different story when you jump on a freaking plane to spend quality time with somebody. She will never, ever meet somebody like me, a friend, a real friend who's going to tell you how it is. She's never going to find that. She's never going to find another guy who's going to jump on a plane just to spend quality time with her. Meanwhile, all these guys are using her for sex. I didn't need that from her. All I needed was to be in her company. Somebody who wants to be in your company should mean more than some guy who just want to sleep with you. And it pains me that she took my kindness, my friendship for granted. Because like I said, I know what I bring to the table. I'm the type of person, if I say I'm going to be on a plane and be there for you, I'm that guy. You guys know me. I'm a traveler. I'm a traveler. If a friend calls me up, hey, Geron, I need you. I need you here. I'm on the next plane out that bitch. I'm on the next plane to your city, to your state. If you need me, I'm there for you. I'm there for you. But you know what? The universe did me a favor. Because like I told you guys, I had a crush on her back in the day, right? She neglected me, the friendship. Met this Jehovah's Witness guy. They was married for 8-9 years, whatever. Had a child together. The marriage didn't work out. Then she decided to sleep around and be a hoe, right? I said to myself, the universe did me a freaking favor. Because if that was, imagine if me and her had a child together, got married, things didn't work out. You think I want my baby mama to be a hoe? You think I want to be telling people, oh yeah, things don't work out with my baby mama. Oh, and by the way, now she's sleeping around. Now she got no respect, no morals, no conscience. She's just sleeping around. So when I look back, I'm like, oh shit. The universe really was looking out for me. It really was looking out for me. And it made me realize when things didn't work out in my favor, it really was a blessing in disguise. I didn't see it at the time. I didn't see what the elder who decided to abuse his power and falsely defellowship me. I didn't see it that there was a bigger picture at stake. The universe said, Geron, this is not the truth. I'm going to show you that this is not the truth. I'm going to show you by these unloving elders. I'm going to show you. And then I'm going to make you do your research so you can wake up on your own. And that is exactly what happened. And the same thing happened with that chick in Michigan. The universe showed me she wasn't a real friend, Geron. And she damn well wouldn't have been a good partner. So, like I said in the beginning of this video, I was filled with hatred for these two people. I ain't gonna lie. I was filled with hatred, right? For the longest. Because I came to both of these people with pure good motives. I went to the elders with pure good motives to come back and be a Jehovah's Witness. All they want to do was abuse their power and falsely and just shun me. Because a lot of these elders are power hungry. They love to shun people. They love to fellowship people. They will lie and say, oh no, we don't do. Yeah, you fucking do. Yeah, you do. They get off on it. They get off knowing that they have power over people, right? And that is what woke me up. That is what woke me up. So I'm happy I was able to finally let this go. Put it out there. Because I had this bottled in for the longest. Now I could put it out there. Now I could officially move on with my life. And let it go. And you know what? I want to end this video on this note. I recently met someone that has loved me. That has shown me what real love is. Show me what real love is. And she made me realize, oh shit, I'm happy things don't work with nobody else. I'm happy that all those relationships in the past failed because for the first time in my life, I met someone that genuinely loves Geron for me. I don't have to be a Jehovah's Witness. I don't got to be funny. I don't got to do this. I don't got to do that. All I have to do is be Geron. I met someone that loves me for me. And it made me realize that the universe really was looking out for me. The universe really was looking out for me when I got rejected by all those people in the past that failed to love me for who I was. Because the universe said, Geron, I got somebody lined up for you. All you got to do is just be patient. Just be patient, Geron. Just be patient and wait. And you're going to see why things didn't work out with everybody else in the past. I'm blessed. I truly am blessed. But guys, thank you for listening. Like I said, I wanted to put this out there so I could finally release these emotions. It was bottled in for the longest time. So thank you for listening, guys. As always, I love you guys. I'll see you on the next video. Take care.